Guests of honor, Ms. Go Sui Chen, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome to the signing ceremony between the Institute for Human Resource Professionals, IHRP, and Nanyang Technological University, NTU. I would like to invite Professor Ling San, NTU's Deputy President and Provost, to join Ms. Go as the standing witness. Professor Ling, please. Next, I would like to invite the signatories, Mr. Mayang Parekh, CEO of IHRP, and Professor Christina So, Dean of Nanyang Business School, to the signing table. The MoA signifies the partnership between IHRP and NTU's Nanyang Business School to develop a dual-track MiniMasters program which caters to experienced leaders from both HR and non-HR backgrounds. This strategic collaboration leverages NBS's academic quality as well as IHRP's expertise and industry partnership to provide program participants with relevant experience and insights that will help them build a future-ready workplace. Signatories, you may now be seated. And you may now pen the documents. And when you're ready, if you could exchange the documents. Congratulations, the Memorandum of Agreement between IHRP and NTU has been signed. Now, Professor So and Mr. Parekh, please do stand for a group photo. If you could open it up as well. Thank you. Excellent. We have now come to the end of the signing ceremony. I will hand the time back to Kimberly, who will introduce the next segment of today's program.
Thank you, Karina. It is indeed exciting to see how far IHRP will go forward in the future as we continue working together with our ecosystem partners. Up next, we have Professor Nigel Pang, Assistant Dean of Nanyang Executive Education from NTU Nanyang Business School, to conduct a showcase of their MiniMasters program. Nigel, please.
Thank you to our distinguished guests for witnessing and signing the Memorandum of Agreement between IHRP and NTU. A very good afternoon. I'm the Associate Professor Nigel Pang, the Assistant Dean of Nanyang Executive Education from the Nanyang Business School. In the next 15 minutes, I would like to explain the key features of the MiniMasters in Human Resource. But before I proceed, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate all the conferred IHRP certified professionals. As you attain your IHRP CP status, you are signaling to the stakeholders that you are committed to uphold the human resource professional standard. At Nanyang Business School, we recognize the importance of having the foundational training in human resource. After all, we have been training many young talents in HR for the past 20 years under our Human Resource Consulting degree program. So we are honored to partner with IHRP in developing and launching this MiniMasters in Human Resource. So this afternoon, I would like to cover 3 key areas. 1, the context. Why are we introducing the MiniMasters in the current context? 2, the content. What does the MiniMasters cover? And 3, the considerations. What do you need to consider if you wish to study in this program? So let's take a look at the context. We are living in challenging time. The importance of HR is being tested now as companies struggle to balance business and people interests. While there are laws and regulations that govern the way we deal with business decisions that affects people's employment, HR has to carry the extra responsibility to bring financial considerations, business ethics, the social contract between employees and employees, as well as the company values all these into considerations. So your recommendations or your decisions will have an impact on the company's brand as well as people's livelihood. While we may think that these challenges are temporary and will soon go away as the pandemic situation improves, but this will be a misguided thinking, because the pandemic simply accelerated the inevitables. Take, for example, digital disruption. This has happened way before COVID occurred, and it will continue to disrupt many business models. So companies that have not been investing in their resources in developing digital solutions are probably paying the price now. And hopefully it is not too late for them to change. On the other hand, organizations that have invested in talent and resources in digital transformations are reaping the benefits. IHRP is a good example. You are here today to receive your comfort certificate because you were able to go online to complete the certification test under a proctored test environment. And IHRP make the right investment decisions to invest in these digital solutions way before COVID came into the picture. And we are seeing the benefits now. So there are many other human capital challenges, such as the 2020 census report just released a few weeks ago regarding Singapore populations. So as HR practitioner, we need to be sensitive to the macro environments so that we are better prepared to advise our organizations, our employees, as well as ourselves in dealing with these inevitable disruptors. And the best way to go about doing this is to prepare and invest in your own skills future. Besides the experienced HR practitioners, we also have in mind the non-HR professional. So these are professionals from other functional roles that earmarked by the organization to transfer or move into the HR role in the near future, or individuals who want to make a personal career switch to human resource. And we have witnessed in the past 1 year, many jobs are being affected or displaced. And unfortunately, some of these jobs may no longer return post-pandemic. So IHRP and Nanyang Business School aim to cater to this group of aspiring learners to assist them in their reskilling to transit into the HR industry. From the strategic perspective, the inflow of mid-career talents from non-HR background will further enrich the HR talent pipeline in Singapore. And increasingly, HR do require more diverse talent background to be an effective HR business partner to the line business unit. So I've given you an overview of the context. Now let me move on to explain the content of the MiniMasters HR in HR program. Our overall objective is to enhance your career advancement, such as preparing you for the senior professional status. Or as I mentioned earlier on, to assist non-HR practitioners to transit into the HR industry. So we are offering 2 distinct programs, and these 2 programs are aligned closely to the IHRP body of competencies. On the left is the MiniMasters in HR Thought Leadership for the HR practitioners. And this program aims to enhance HR practitioner overall business and financial acumen. And on the right is the MiniMasters in Strategic HR Performance for the non-HR practitioners, and the overall program designed to enhance the learners' functional HR knowledge. So let me now spend a bit of time to explain the key modules features under each of this program. So for the MiniMasters in HR Thought Leadership for the HR practitioner, the 5 key topics or modules are, first of all, strategic management. In this course, learners will learn about the various strategic models and framework, and also learn about how companies go about making the trade-off decisions when dealing with competing priorities. Also, how to develop a green reputation and sustainability. Second, finance fundamentals. Learners will learn about the financial principles, concepts, and analytical tools. Concepts such as time value of money, bond and stock valuations, options, capital budgeting, capital structure, and so on. Analytics technologies in business. Here, learners will learn about how companies are making use of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Learn about the differentiations between descriptive analytics and predictive analytics, and also time series analysis, and so on. Digital marketing. So by leveraging on digital technology and solutions, how does company actually help to better understand the needs and the behaviors of digital consumer, and also offer seamless online, offline consumer experience? Also increasingly, how to manage the risk of wide-scale data collections. Lastly, business ethics and corporate governance. So as company faced with volatile and highly competitive environment, how does a company put in place good corporate governance and anti-bribery, anti-corruption practices? And also how to enhance ethical leadership practice as well as corporate social responsibility. So next, let's look at the mini masters in strategic HR performance for the non-HR practitioner. The first course that the learners will go through is the strategic HR in digital age. We like to equip the learners to appreciate the differentiations between operation HR and strategic HR, and how is that applied in the digital environment. Learn about the various technology and develop good HR matrix, and also develop a virtual work and employment kind of an e-culture. Second, talent sourcing and acquisitions. Learners will learn how to align talent strategy to the business strategy, and by doing so, able to better apply job analysis or learn about job analysis, and also develop a robust talent acquisitions program. How to leverage predictive analytics to improve hiring decisions. Third, strategic rewards. Here, learners will learn about performance management and compensation management. And as digital disrupt many jobs, new jobs are being created. So how do you go about doing job evaluation, setting the right pay level or right pay structure, and also develop good, robust executive compensation program, sales compensations program, as well as employees benefits program. Talent learning and development. And increasingly, this is a very strategic function in HR. So learner will learn how to actually develop this center of excellence and put in place robust selection and assessment programs to facilitate succession planning, and also learn to use various tools such as gamifications to enhance user experience. And lastly, capstones in HR diagnosis. In this module, we like the learners to assimilate and integrate all the HR knowledge and then apply it in the real-life company case. Learners will be supervised by a certified IHRP profession as well as the 9 business school professor in using this HCDT, the Human Capital Diagnostic Tool developed in IHRP. So I've given you an overview of this 2 mini masters program. So let us now take a look at the key features of the mini masters. As the name implies, this is a mini masters, not a full masters. A typical full masters in 9 business school will cover 15 to 16 modules over a period of 1 year full-time or 2 years part-time. So in this case, our mini master offer 5 modules, and you can complete these 5 modules over a period of 6 months to 7 months. And each module is delivered over 4 consecutive weekends to minimize any disruptions to your weekday work commitment. And we designed the program in such a way that offer a blended learning experience so that learners will get to experience in-classroom group discussion as well as synchronous online lessons. And in some courses, self-paced learning as well. when learner complete the 5 MiniMasters module, he or she will attain the MiniMasters certificate issued by the Nanyang Business School. As a top business school in Asia, the MiniMasters certificate will carry a certain weight and enhance your career prospect. We also designed the program in such a way that gives learners an option to transfer credit if the learner chooses to pursue the MBA or MSc at Nanyang Business School at later stage. But this decision has to be made within 5 years after getting the MiniMasters certificate. And the reason being is that our MBA and MSc program, the curriculum do change from time to time. When it comes to the course fee, it requires a 20,000 Sing dollars investment. However, we are in the process of applying for Singapore government grant for the Singapore citizens as well as permanent residents. And we'll share the details at a later stage. In terms of admission requirements, requires applicants to have minimum 5 years of working experience. Degree is not compulsory. Now, because this is a joint program between IHRP and Nanyang Business School, we will collectively screen the applicants to make sure that the applicants do have a better chance to go to the next stage of senior professional status certifications opportunities. So I've given you an overview of the MiniMasters context, the course content, as well as the program features for your considerations. So let's now move on to the question and answer sessions. Thank you.
Yes, very good afternoon. So I would just like to take this opportunity to perhaps add a few more key points to what you heard from these presentations. In terms of the course venue, we are aware that many of the working adults have challenged going to the NTU campus, especially over the weekends. So we are currently looking at developing this or offering this program at the city areas. The timing of the programs, as I mentioned earlier on, is over 4 consecutive weekends. So we are planning in such a way that it will be held Saturday from 8:30 to 5:30 p.m. Third point, I would like to perhaps also further clarify. As I mentioned, there are 2 MiniMasters programs. The MiniMasters in HR Thought Leadership is for the HR practitioner. So in this program, we are really trying to strengthen the HR professional, financial, business, and digital acumen, so that you're much better prepared in going for your next certification at the SP level. For the non-HR practitioner, the MiniMasters in Strategic HR Performance, we are preparing this group of learners for the CP certifications. And in this program, we will also encourage the learners to go for the paper A. And this will be something that we will want to build into the program to encourage the learners to take this paper A so that he or she will be much better prepared in going for the CP certification at a later stage. Now, to attain the MiniMasters certificate, one has to actually complete the 5 modules and achieve the overall GPA score of 2.5, which is equivalent to about a C+ grade. Lastly, as I mentioned earlier on, we are also in the process of getting the SSG approval to subsidize Singaporean as well as a PR to pursue this program. So let me then pause here to see whether anyone have any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer any queries that you may have. You can either post a question online or just unmute, and I'm not sure whether unmute is possible, but you can certainly post your question online. I'm looking at the Q&A sessions right now. Okay, so there is a question asking about, upon getting the MiniMasters certificate, will the learners automatically upgrade to a SP? The answer is no, but because as some of you probably are aware, to go to the next level, IHRP do put in place some criteria. Like you need to have at least 10 years of work experience in HR. Because if you are going through this MiniMasters, IHRP is prepared to waive that years of working experience. So there is something that, as I mentioned, this is going to be a joint admission together with IHRP. So we will actually look at all the applicants to see whether you do actually have that potential to get to the next SP level. Yeah, so it's not automatically guaranteed, but going through the MM will bring you to a SP status. But certainly going through the program is actually equip you with the business and financial acumen for the SP level certification. Okay, so someone asked whether what's the difference between this MiniMasters and the Masters. So as I mentioned, this is a MiniMasters. So some of the modules, I won't say all the modules that we offer in the MiniMasters do automatically give you the transfer of credit to our 9 business school, whether it's the MBA or some of the MSc program. But some of the programs that I do provide you the opportunity. So the transfer of credit means that, say for example, instead of doing the 15 modules, you may do much less. So in other words, give you a bit more flexibility in terms of managing your time in completing the full masters. I would also like to take this opportunity to explain one more point. As I mentioned earlier on, in terms of the admission criteria, while coming into the MiniMasters, a basic degree is not required. However, if the individual do want to pursue a full master's subsequently, he or she will still need to have a basic degree credential, because that will be our admission criteria for our usual MBA and MSc program. But for the MiniMaster, the degree is not compulsory. Okay, let me see if any other questions. My apology if I'm not able to answer all the questions, so I will just pick, and of course, based on the time that we have, I'll try to answer as many as I can. When will the intake for the MiniMasters? Good questions. We are planning to start the program for the HR professional program. This we are looking at October period, and then for the non-HR MiniMasters will be January next year. So we will share more details in terms of the admission application process in due course. So do look out for either IHRP communications or from the Nanyang Business School website. Okay, what is the course fee after subsidies? Unfortunately, because we are still waiting for the final approval from SSG, so I won't be able to share with you the exact figure, but certainly I would say, I can only say it's substantial. But if you want to know the details, we will certainly be able to share more after we get a final approval from SSG. Okay. Okay, someone asked about exam structure. Yeah, good question. Now we are mindful because the learners are working adults. So in terms of the modules, we will have a mixture of assignment as well as MCQ, right? Multiple choice test. But that doesn't mean that all the modules, all the course will be structured in that way. So it also depends on the modules that you are taking and the instructors in terms of setting up the assessment criteria. Yes, so someone says that can this be upgraded to a full master? As I mentioned, some of the modules do allow you to have this transfer of credit. Yeah. Okay, someone asked about the course structure, how is it scheduled? So if the course starts, like I said, on the Saturday, it will run for 4 consecutive Saturdays, right? And by 4 consecutive Saturdays to complete 1 module. And typically in between, there will be a 2 weeks break before the next module starts. So as I mentioned earlier on, you notice that the full MiniMasters, there are total 5 modules. So you take typically about 6 months to 7 months to complete. Okay. Someone did ask a good answer here. I mean, a good question here. Do I have to retake the module? if I've completed it previously in my MSc. I guess depends. So you have to share with us later on, what kind of which module have you taken? Then we will take a look at that, right? Yeah. So if you're not familiar with the university structure in terms of achieving what we call a GPA, so typically the assessment every module, there will be an overall course grade at the end of completing the module. So it could be a B, C, D kind of a grade. And then behind the grade, there is a scoring system. So the GPA system is put in such a way that is from 1 to 5. So a 2.5 is usually pretty achievable for many working adults, right? So unless, of course, there is a requirement that attendance is also important, compulsory. And there's also part of the conditions that SSG require for learners to commit the time to finish the course, right? So if you're not able to complete at least 80% of the attendance, then you may not be able to so-called pass the module, so to speak. Okay, so someone asked, would there be a HR full master's in NTU? Yes, certainly this is something that we are moving towards too. So I guess I can share that at later in due course in future. So let me see if I miss any other questions. Okay, so okay, let me see. So the question, if you are a CP, you are currently a CP holder, what you may want to consider is the MiniMasters in the HR Thought Leadership, right? Because this program, the modules inside, you notice they are all non-HR related topics. They are all business financial topics, right? So if you're already a CP certified, you probably will not want to take the non-HR practitioner programs, the MiniMasters in Strategic HR Performance, because that one is designed primarily for the non-HR practitioner who wants to transit to HR profession. Would there be project work? If you are doing the program for the HR practitioner, there will not be a capstone project needed. But for the non-HR program, yes, there will be a capstone project needed. Okay, someone asked, would it be delivered online? As it is today, our current MiniMasters, because we are also running MiniMasters for other functional programs such as marketing, digital, business analytics, and so on. Including this MiniMasters for HR, we are also looking into a hybrid delivery modules. So also depends on instructors, right? So generally speaking, it will be 50-50%. So half the time over the 4 Saturday, some of the Saturday will be online, some of the Saturday will be physical class. Yes, indeed. We are very happy to have Dr. Fermin to teach in one of the modules, which is the strategic rewards program. But this program is for the non-HR practitioner. All right. I just want to be clear about that. Okay, let me see if there are any other questions. Okay, someone also asked about discount for NTU alumni. So on this question, good question. So I suggest that if you are really interested in the program, upon application, you can certainly talk to us. Okay, where can I get more information? As I say, we will share more information. So today is a launch, it's just getting words out to the market. And do look out for more details, either through the IHRP channels or the 9 Business School website, right? So we'll put all this information out soon. Yes, including the application process. Okay, so someone asked also about the instructors, who are they and so on. So if you're taking the HR Thought Leadership Program, the strategic management, finance, fundamentals, and all these are all our full-time non-business school faculty, right? So in other words, these are subject matter experts. They are in their lead areas in their own domain knowledge area. So rest assured that you're in good hands. They will certainly be able to bring a lot of insights to share with you at the program. And also for the non-HR practitioner, we also have later on, you will see Professor Trevor Yu at the panel discussion. He will be teaching the strategic HR in digital age. And also we have Dr. Fermin Diaz teaching the strategic rewards. We also have our business school professor, we call him Professor Sasha in short, Alexandra, teaching talent sourcing, and also we also have one very prominent and senior HR leaders from a very leading consulting firm teaching talent learning and development. And of course, we also have Professor Lim Peng Chong leading the capstone project. Can HR practitioner apply for strategic HR performance? Okay, so I guess for HR practitioner, if you are still very keen to get more insight or learn about the topic in HR, although we designed this primarily for the non-HR practitioner, you are certainly welcome. I don't think we want to be exclusive. It is an inclusive program. So although, just be very clear that this program is for non-HR practitioner. So I guess it's also from learning perspective, good to learn from your fellow students and learners who are probably from a very different background, right? And you may have learners from, accounting background, engineering background, even lawyers and so on, right? Coming to this kind of program. Yeah, so I would say from learning point of view, it's actually quite rewarding as well. Okay, so some of the questions I don't quite understand, so I try my best to answer those questions. So how would you peg the MiniMasters to a degree or higher? Certainly the MiniMasters, the whole intention, I think you also heard from Chairperson Ms. Goh's speech earlier on. The whole intention of introducing this MiniMasters is not so much about paper chase. It's not about getting a degree or a full master's and so on. The intention really is to provide additional channels to allow people to want to kind of continue to invest in your skills upgrading, right? So that's why we introduced this program, and that's why even for universities like ours, one of the very important criteria we usually have is that applicants usually need to have a degree, but we are preparing to waive that because we want to be inclusive to allow even people without a degree to come into the program, because we are mindful that for the working professional, knowing that this program, we are targeting people with 5 years working experience and above. So there will be a lot of people like, for example, with a diploma, with any other qualifications, they can also come into this program, right? And then they will also then get a chance to learn from our faculty, all those very specialized topics. Yeah. So I think that's how I will answer this question. It's not really about chasing a paper of getting a degree and so on. Yeah. Okay. All right, so maybe I'm mindful of the time. So at this point, maybe I'll just see whether there's any last questions before I hand it back to Kimberly. Okay, so there is a technical question. So I'm not sure I am able to answer this question. Will the training hours be considered as clock hours for IHRP recertification? This is a very good question. I will certainly bring it back and discuss with IHRP and see whether to what extent this contributes to if you are kind of clocking your recertification criteria. Yeah, so good questions there. Okay, cohort size. All right, so this will be my last answer to the question. Cohort size, we are also looking at between 25 to 40, even though we do have the potential of stretching to 50, but again, it's a moving target because it also depends on the safety measures that we have to follow under MoE guidelines. Okay, so with that, maybe thank you very much, everybody. I can see that you are very enthusiastic about this program. Unfortunately, in the interest of time, I won't be able to answer all these questions in details. So what I would suggest is that, like I mentioned earlier on, we will be sending out EDMs either through IHRP channels or from, if you are our alumni from NTU, you also receive these information updates. So we'll provide the link for you to then either contact our administrators. They will be able to help you address any of these questions. But at the same time, if you're also interested in applying, there is no so-called first come, first serve. It's not based on that. So you can actually also start to submit your applications or indicate your interest in this program. All right, so with that, thank you very much for listening in. And I do hope that every one of us take this as an ongoing learning journey. And then hopefully I will see some of you in class in the near future. All right, with that, thank you very much. I'll hand it back to Kimberly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nigel. Throughout today, we have heard many mentions about work transformation. Indeed, as our speakers had mentioned, HR will be the crucial function in shaping work transformation efforts in the organization.